Whether you're leading for the first time, leading through change, or learning to lead all over again, this space is for you. No fluff, no gimmicks, just real talk from those who've led through challenges, adapted under pressure, and thrived in the face of change. Welcome to Command to Corporate, where leadership isn't just taught, it's lived. Let's get to work.
All right, we're live and in action. Here we go. We're back.
Yes, sir.
All right, how's everybody doing? It's been a minute. I am LP. He is T. We've caught up for a few minutes prior to this, so we pretty much caught up with each other. But for the group though, I mean, people that may follow us on, in particular, YouTube, and even on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. It's been a minute since we've dropped some new material, so we are back
Mhm.
at it. We just going through life, our day-to-day careers, and then we also been working on a little side thing, trying to get that, formulate, get that all structured and get that nice. So more to come on that, which I think we're both excited about. So since the last time, though, it's been a couple months now because we actually
I think so.
concluded
Yeah.
season 2 in December, and now here we're about to hit
Oh.
May. So
Oh
yeah,
wow.
we
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a gap. But you've been all right. You done took some travel since then. You've been around the world and back again.
Oh yes, sir.
I watched your video for some reason disappeared on
Yeah.
me.
I don't know.
See what happened to you.
Yeah, I don't see myself either. That's strange.
I'm gonna remove you and then I'm gonna bring you back.
Okay.
And T is gone. And now let's see if we can bring T back. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Did you close like something on
I
your?
didn't touch anything, honestly.
All right. Let's
Huh.
see. I'm gonna have to do some master editing.
All right. Let me let me go and come back.
All right.
Okay.
See you in a minute. All right. And so while we're waiting on T with a little bit of technical difficulty, he's traveled. I think he went down to Colombia. I think he went for a minute, went to visit a friend. I think he went to the Netherlands maybe with some family and went out there for a minute. So yeah, he's done some traveling. I did a little bit. My wife and I went to Puerto Rico actually. But we didn't go to San Juan. We flew into San Juan, of course, but we went to Fajardo Beach Town, which was pretty nice. We actually went off to the Spanish Virgin Islands, and then we went all the way to the other side. I went to Cabo Rojo. I really love Cabo Rojo. I was just telling the audience while we were waiting for you to come back that you took some travels. I know you went to Colombia. Did you go to the Netherlands recently?
No, I went to New Zealand.
New
Weeks
Zealand. I
ago.
knew it started with an
Yeah.
N. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time. A couple of weeks just driving around with my brother, so it was pretty good. Beautiful
That's
place.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I can imagine. Yeah. So at least got some traveling, got some vacations in, which is
Mm.
good on both our sides. I was telling them I went to Puerto Rico, and it was
Yeah.
pretty nice time. So definitely enjoy that. But we've been thinking about for a while to maybe pick up a property there, and I really
Mm.
like Cabo Rojo. Um, so I was trying to sell my
I've
wife on
never
that.
been.
But yeah,
Yeah.
never been to Puerto Rico.
I've been to Puerto Rico, but
Oh,
the place you mentioned, Cabo
oh yeah,
Rojo?
Cabo Rojo. Yeah, take
Cabo
it.
Rojo.
It's a 2 hour drive from San Juan,
Hmm.
but nice drive down there. Once you hit the coast, you're going through all those coastal
Yeah.
towns, going through Ponce, and I think Isabella's. I think a little not too far from there. I mean, it's just all nice, beautiful. Just seeing the ocean, all that stuff is really nice.
Checking out your retirement home?
I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind. Just have to ship my motorcycle, and I'm good. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So all good. All
Okay.
right, we back at it. So our
Mhm.
topic of today: what does it mean to be a professional? Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Mm.
What does it mean to be a professional? And as always, for those that maybe have not joined in, we drop these topics and then we have some questions and we're going to just go through them. So we will kick it off. What defines professionalism beyond dress code?
Maybe we should have gotten like a formal definition of it.
Oh, you know what?
But
Let's do it though. Hold
all
on.
right, while you do that, let me take a stab
Okay.
at it, right? So I think what you mentioned there, at least it's half of it, right? Dress code meaning just looking professional, looking your part, right? Because that's the initial perception people have is, whatever you look like, kind of, they assume that's what your personality is like. So if you're
Hmm.
sloppy, dirty, you may be perceived as somebody that doesn't really care about
True.
themselves. Why would you care about anything else, right? But
Yeah.
I think professionalism or a profession generally has um, a bit of a higher education. I
Hmm.
think another factor is continued education, so professional development in your field. And I think the third thing, and this is referencing way back from college days, so from West Point. So I think it's a self-governing body as well, right? I
Okay.
think those are the things, right? So higher education could be also, I don't know, I don't believe it necessarily has to be higher education. I think it could be experience as well.
Hmm.
Um, the hard part though, continuing education is could be easy, but
Okay.
the hard part is self-governing, right? So it's your ability to kind of take a step back and assess where you stand as an individual, right? So did I do something wrong? Let's look into it. Why did I do this wrong? What information did I have? How can I improve it next time, right?
Hmm.
And then take an ownership of a mistake that you made. Say, okay, yes, my bad. Yeah, I made this mistake, and being able to own it and improve on them. All right, that's my
Well, let me,
guess. What do you got?
let me tell you, you damn near spot on. So
Yeah.
let's keep us honest by the book. So professionalism is the consistent demonstration of competence,
Mm,
specialized knowledge, and
mm.
respectful ethical behavior in the workplace.
Ah,
It
okay.
encompasses reliability, positive attitude, appropriate appearance, and accountability, which are essential for career success and building trust with clients or colleagues. Key characteristics of professionalism: competence and knowledge, reliability and accountability, respect and
Mm.
integrity, professional appearance, emotional intelligence. You covered it all. So
Ah, okay. A
you're
lot
all over.
more.
Yeah, yeah,
All
you're
right.
all.
West Point did me
So
good.
for sure. A dress code, I mean, that all depending on the industry, because you could be, a lifeguard and everyone's dress code is making sure you have the uniform on. So
Mm.
that's all depending,
Oh,
so
absolutely.
yeah, so it all
Oh,
depends. You're in retail, but you're wearing the store's clothes or something like, well, then you have that professional
sure.
appearance. Some offices, I think even in our building, there's a floor. I mean, I see people get off in shorts and t-shirts, but they could wear it. So it's like, okay, as long as you're not sloppy, everything's neat, tasteful, appropriate language on it, then you may be
Yeah.
good.
Also, it's good that you brought that up because it reminds me of interview I had. I was interviewing for an operational manager position back in the day, and I got it. But what really shocked me is that the people that were interviewing me were in like jeans and a t-shirt, right?
Mm,
That's the culture of that company. So it like to me and you maybe it'd be like that's extremely unprofessional,
yeah.
to be interviewing in jeans and a t-shirt. But for that company culture, that's it's okay and it's the norm. And so I guess yeah. So looking the part is also part of professional because if you are you know working in like a suit without a tie, you would definitely not fit in, and that may seem unprofessional because you are bucking the system. I don't know, but it just won't go well, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess it's the impression too, because I was just having this conversation with my son. Like once he gets ready for his, true professional debut, getting him
Mm,
some business attire, and he's
yes.
like, "Oh, I've been thinking about that. Maybe some slacks and a t-shirt." And I'm like, "I don't. It depends on the setting.
Yeah.
I personally would not go to work wearing a t-shirt unless it was a company t-shirt. And it's
Yes.
like maybe on a Friday, dressed down on my whatever's considered your Friday.
Hmm.
Or if it's a t-shirt, it's nice, but you have a blazer on over it. So you like kind of
Hmm.
put it together a little bit. But I told him at the end of the day, you want to dress for success, and those
Yes.
first impressions, and sometimes just uh, coupled with the quality of your work and all of those that your integrity, your accountability, then on top of that, you just kick it up a notch with your appearance, you kind of stand out. Not that it's everything, but people take notice. And I remember
Yeah.
early in my career working this manufacturing place, I dress nice all the time. Not that I don't now, but and I remember a guy that was a lot older than me said, "Hey, never change the way you dress. Don't go down because you see others go. Just keep doing what you do."
Yep. Yep.
I was like, okay. But then at our company, you might have members of the C-suite that wear suits all the time,
Yeah.
and you might say, well, that's because it's them, but it's not. It's not just them. There's other people that are a little bit higher up that do it, but there's nothing stopping anyone from deciding to. That's how you're going to be, and
That's
it's
true.
fine because it's such a mix.
Yeah.
Not that so many people are wearing T-shirts, but there's jeans, there's
Hmm.
polos that could be company
Hmm.
T-shirts, and then someone come around the corner and they're in a full suit, no ties, but full suit.
Also, I mean, what's really unique, same company, but different offices in different cities, or or
Oh,
offices in different cities have a different culture of their own as well, based on the
true.
city that you're in, So
Very
that's
true.
interesting. Like
Yeah.
Chicago, I think it's a little bit more formal, versus Austin is a little bit more laid back.
Yeah. You got a place in New York,
Mm.
California. Yeah, so definitely. So can someone be high performing but not professional? Of course. Of course. It's
Yes.
like that high performance comes at a cost. And
Yes.
it could be some of the worst people to work with because, maybe they are delivering, the high performing, I would say is high performing, you're delivering on results, but it could be on the back of someone else. You could be stepping over people.
Yes.
You could take ideas and run with it as if your own. So you're still delivering high, you're delivering, you're hitting your marks, but at what cost? Are you making other people look bad? Are you again
Hmm.
taking your ideas? Are you not including team members when you should? And you're with those spotlight rangers, are you're the one talking,
Exactly.
leading
Yeah.
constantly. Like,
Yes.
can you shut up for a minute? Like they
Yeah.
ask me the question and they start talking. It's like, come on, take it easy.
Yeah. And guess what? Like everybody's rooting for them to fail.
Oh
That's the
yeah,
difference, right?
facts. Yeah.
That's the people like, yeah, I can't wait until this guy or gal just, you know,
Yeah.
stumbles. So now we can all have a laugh. And so
Yeah.
people are rooting for your failure when you become that person. Yeah, you may be like a know-it-all or a spotlight ranger, like you said. Yeah. And it doesn't go so well.
And we actually covered that a little bit briefly with
I think
the,
so.
the
Yeah.
video on Simon Sinek. If someone goes back and looks at one of our previous episodes, we talked about how the SEALs, I think, they would rather have that C level that's 100% reliable, that top performer that
Yeah.
may not
That's
be.
true. Yeah.
Because if you're not going to be a team player, you're willing to stab the boss in the back. It's like, hey, I don't know about them. They're not really doing a good job. And you going
Hmm.
above them and all this, you're still high performing, but stay in your lane. Let your work shine for itself. Let you get
Yes.
you will get a chance to be put out there. Sometimes you can ask, like, hey, do you mind if I leave this? But to constantly step over and like you just fighting your way constantly, it's like take it easy. Because then nobody wants you there. Honestly, they're like they
No.
can't wait for you to slip up, and then they'd be like,
Yeah.
"Gotcha, bye."
It's true.
All right. How does pressure reveal professionalism? Ooh,
Mm,
I mean, I,
it's
I
like,
got thoughts. What you got, T?
go ahead, brother. What you
I
got?
mean, that's when it falls apart. you
Yes.
know, it's
Yeah.
it's shoot. I got a tattoo back here that says "always cool above water" because this one person said, "Man, you're like a duck. You just on top of this water, you're just smooth." But I know those little legs are just a movement, and I'm like, "Yeah, but you can't let them sweat." I mean, and I think we are tested. So in a basic way, people in the military are tested. Then when you start to get into people like SEALs and special,
Mm,
they're tested even more. to
Yeah.
stay calm under pressure. They're going to
Hmm.
face the utmost pressure. We're going to face it, but not to the level they're going to face it. Even people, you were a pilot, even stuff like that. Like that's not going to be the same as every average day soldier that's going out there.
Sure.
We do have it, but it's
Yeah.
at a different level. And the higher you go, the more you have to regulate that pressure and remain professional and keep an even keel. And you have to not only do it for yourself or the people that you around you, like just your people you're passing, and for your team that you may work with or maybe over. But how does pressure reveal? People will fall apart. They'll get chaotic. They'll lose their head. They may start yelling. Um,
Yes. Exactly. No, those are all perfect, like perfectly said. Yep. I think pressure, like you said, the outbursts, people get angry, get angry outbursts after a while.
mhm.
Um, you know, and maybe I'm guilty of this sometimes. Profanity sometimes comes out like if I'm under intense pressure. I try to be cool, but it doesn't always work out. Um, and yeah, those are kind of the way I see it, and yelling at people. But like if you're professional, you're able to manage that and still show that you're under a lot of pressure, but are still not displaying unprofessionalism, like yelling at people or letting your work be sloppy or whatever, you name it.
And then even when we flip it and say, like, let's say you have a subordinate that's feeling the
Mm,
pressure and they come at you like that. They're now the pressure's on you, directed towards you. Do you maintain professionalism? Can you de-escalate, or do you match their energy, which people like to say all the time? And then if they're going
oof.
at me, I'm gonna go at them because it's not gonna end well. You
Yeah,
know,
that's true.
feelings are hurt. You could both be terminated.
Yeah.
A lot of people might think, well, that's acceptable, but you're not a professional, especially if you're not a leader. It's like you gotta, if you can't go back to the point of having that emotional intelligence and regulating and de-escalating, and let's take a breath, let's take a moment,
Yeah.
let's compose ourselves. We don't want to do anything that puts anyone as at risk of anything. Come on, let's take it back a notch. Let's take a walk, something. But if you go right at it, then you're not ready. That's a big part.
No,
You're not ready.
that's really tough about being a people manager. Because like usually if one of your team members is under a lot of pressure, it's because I had to put that pressure on that person because I'm under pressure as well, right? So it could be the entire team is under pressure. And
Mhm.
now everybody is just trying to be calm and cool. And sometimes it takes one person to snap and it could be like a possible domino effect.
Yeah.
Now I'm stressed. So he yells at me or she yells at me. And like that was a straw,
Yeah.
then I get mad. And it's tough. Like you really, really have to be mindful of that, right? And I think that's part of always putting an outlet. You have to find an outlet for your team and yourself and say, okay,
Yeah.
we're working our asses off. Let's take a break, go out to lunch together or something.
Yeah. Happy hour. Like my
Yeah.
team recently, we went and did electric shuffleboard, which I didn't think never have done shuffleboard. It's
Electric shuffleboard.
electric shuffle. It's like a tabletop shuffleboard and
Hmm.
small, narrow lanes. You
Yeah.
slide it with your hand versus the little stick, but they have multiple games. It's kind of like doing, you know, almost like Top Golf has a different games that you could play, and
Ah, okay.
similar to that, but with shuffleboard. Very Turned out to be more fun than I thought. And but doing stuff like that, let's get out, let's
Yeah.
have some fun together, build that camaraderie on a
Yeah.
team, go back at it, and they just feel energized and they feel good about each other too, because it's a team that actually wants to be around each other.
Hmm.
So that makes it good.
Hmm. That's pretty cool.
All
Okay.
right. Next one, and I just recently had this discussion with a group that I mentor. Is professionalism taught or learned through experience? And the only question I would have through learn through experience, how do you know that you're actually learning professionalism through your experience? Like, is it right? Is it wrong? Because in my mind, professionalism, for one, isn't taught. at least I don't know on the average person, like how to be professional in a corporate work setting. What does that mean? What does that look like? We have a definition,
Mm.
but where are we actually taught how to be a professional?
That's a good question, right? I think it's learned. The learned aspect is seeing others that you respect and you think are professional.
Mhm.
So you see somebody and you're like, man, my boss is always like, you know, doesn't show stress, doesn't show emotional outbursts, always cool, always thinking of us, like always, trying to balance our workload. And those are some of the things that you try to emulate. So those, in that way, I think professional can be learned, because sometimes you see good examples of that, and you say, "Hey, I want to be like this person." I think,
Hold on right there. When you
yeah,
said, I want to be like this person,
yeah,
so I guess it depends on the person that's watching. Because let's
yes,
say you have someone that's arrogant,
oh yeah,
abusive
yeah,
bully, and all of this stuff, but you're like, you know what? I like that. That's the kind of professional I want to be. They leave. Now you do the same thing because you think that that's what it's
true,
about. So
true.
this is where I would challenge, you
Okay,
can learn through experience, but how it's like almost like the person's individual character. What does professional look like? Like we have a
yeah,
clear definition, but if that is not the professional I want to be, or I'm picking up bad behaviors that I say I want to be that professional, that's when
mm,
I want to be that type of person in that fancy, dressed up attire. So this is where I think if we were sat, spent some time to actually be taught by the definition, what does it mean? So going back to say, I will be accountable. I will have integrity, where we talked about trust so many times. I will show emotional intelligence. Competence is my watchword. I will learn in all of these things on how to be better, how to improve my skills, how to provide outstanding leadership.
hmm.
I'm actually going to embody this. I don't think there's a lot of gaps I see out there, brother.
No, you're right. But also, let's think about it as people managers, right?
Hmm.
So your employees are going through an experience, right? An experience is nothing without reflection, right? So like this is where the manager kind of steps in and say, okay, I saw you're under a lot of pressure, and I've noticed that you really started snapping at people or whatever negative trait that came out because of the pressure they're under, right? But
Hmm.
this is where a manager comes in and gives feedback, right? And say,
Yeah.
hey, this is how like I would deal with this, whether give them some tactics, techniques on how to deal with either the people or the workload, and just kind of teach them, and so that's in that way it's taught, but in the
Mhm.
other way it's learned through that experience because the magic came in and said, I've noticed, you see that feeling, this could go away by doing this or this, whatever. I think it's both in that sense. If you have a good manager, like you could
Yeah.
learn by being taught by a good manager.
Yeah, that's true. And I think, one thing we've always referenced, both of us, for those
Mhm.
that don't know or tuning in, having read our description prior military, I think the military does really well at
Yeah.
getting people to be professional, hope, carry themselves a certain way. I think
Hmm.
through every branch. Like when you see a military person, you will know it. Like, and
Yeah.
sometimes even outside the military, you can watch people walking their behavior and say, I bet they're prior military. It's just they
Yeah.
give it that
So true.
vibe. And you're like, yeah, they were. It's just like, and it doesn't matter the branch. It's like,
No.
yeah, they
Yeah.
were prior service. You can spot them. It's like,
Yeah.
you got that look. So how do leaders model, and you were just touching on this, how do leaders
Hmm.
model professionalism daily? And I think it's just as you said, they have to set the example, you know,
Yes.
with everything that we talked about at this time.
Yep.
What behaviors immediately damage credibility?
Oh yeah, we already mentioned those bad
Yeah,
things.
yeah. I think you know, I think, and it happens everywhere. My wife and I were talking to our son because he went. really the thing that scares him about going into a true professional setting is the environment, the people.
Mm.
And I'm like, there's going to be issues no matter where you go. I've
Yeah.
experienced in every single place I've been,
Yes.
multiple levels. It doesn't matter. It's what
Yes.
you have to make the best of it. But the behaviors that immediately damage credibility that I'm seeing now is the lack of accountability. You
Mm.
know, sometimes you have people that have made it to some sort of leadership role and they have not taken the time to gain knowledge on how to be a leader. So they end up
Yeah.
sometimes becoming a disservice to people. This is where the favoritisms come in, the unconscious bias, and
Mm.
you maybe not treating people fairly to a certain extent. Not gravitating to some, not talking to others, all of those
Yep.
things, not having integrity. You can't trust them. How many of y'all have been in workplaces and people comment where you're like, oh, I know I can't trust, and not to say that they've done it, like, I
Yeah.
can't, because they'll smile in your face,
Yeah.
and then the next thing you know, they're talking crap behind closed doors. And or and it could and that's the silent secretive stuff that you don't see. They don't take the time to maybe learn a job. They don't improve their own knowledge, maybe try to do things. They don't like accountability. They don't have accountability. You can't trust them.
Mm.
I don't know that I can really, you won't see so much of the emotional outbursts. You will see all of that other stuff. You may not see emotional outbursts and things like that, but those other things, they're there.
How do you show stress when it does come on and it slips out?
When what comes on and slips out?
Stress. Like what?
Stress?
'Cause I look at you and like, yeah, same thing. Like I see the cool cat above water just looking so smooth, So I'm kind
uh,
of curious, like what happens when you get stressed?
uh, well, I just feel that the tension,
Mm.
definitely physically.
Hmm.
And I find myself where sometimes it's not easy to concentrate.
Mm.
Um, so and I try to stay ahead of things, but
Hmm.
I'll find myself that I might have to like step away. So in between meetings, more so when I'm
Mm.
home, I really need to sit somewhere in quiet and
Okay.
step away. Sometimes I have to put on music. I do like to work with music. So if I put it on, it kind of gets me re energized. So if I feel that I'm coming down too
Okay.
much, let me put some tunes on and I'm like, all right, I got some, some 90s rap or whatever, and I'm good now. And so I'll get something back going like that. So I think those things will kind of pull me in and get me refocused. So I may
All
not
right.
show it. And apparently I do show it
Do
at
you?
times.
Okay.
Things, yeah, I mean, maybe where I'm not as excited to,
Ah,
I'm not going
okay.
to show up, but you'll see that maybe that energy is not there. So I'm like, hey guys, where I might be maybe joking, it's down. It's like, what we
Got
got?
it.
Y'all need anything? Sure, no problem. I got you. All right, talk to you later. Where it might be a little bit more conversation and stuff like that.
Ah,
It's like, let's just get down to brass tacks, get it done, and we're out.
that's
So
interesting. So you internalize it.
yeah, a lot. Yeah, my wife probably is like, oh, you don't say anything. And I
Ah,
I do
okay.
come home way more now than I did in the past, and probably Gen X, the way it is back in the day. It's just like you just go hold it in and keep moving because you got so many other things to deal with. It's like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you're got someone else, because you got to manage everyone else coming in
Yeah.
and even at home, and then it's like the last thing I want to do is then turn around and be like, okay, now my turn. I'm already tired. It's like, um, but I think I do that way more now in sharing and saying, let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what happened. Um,
Mm,
and maybe
yeah.
approaches and ways to navigate and things like that. But I just wish that as people age, it
Mhm.
would get better. As people move up in position, it would get better. It seems like it gets worse. And it's just like, what's going
What?
on? Like we're
Dealing with
not,
stress?
no, just professionalism in general.
Ah,
Yeah. because that to me is what really causes the most stress is the lack of professionalism.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay. All right. Cool. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing.
How about you?
Uh, when I get stressed, you would know about it.
Really?
Yeah. I try not to let it, get the best of me, but yeah, like my face apparently tells you. Um, I I may start using profanity, not at a person necessarily,
But just
but like,
whispering to
I
yourself.
can't fucking believe it, stuff like that. So yeah, that's my stress. So yeah, I think people would know when I'm stressed, although I try to deal with it as much as possible. Yeah, sometimes I just may have to like walk away for a little bit and then come back
Mhm.
to it.
Yeah. All
But yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
This goes out for everybody else that's not like you.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I read this book, Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, I think his last name is, maybe not pronouncing it right. It was talking about the power of now. One of the things he said in the
Mm,
book is to not have expectations. And it sounds harsh, but to not expect people to do anything other than they did. So, for example, if someone was supposed to come through with something and they don't, well, you didn't
mm.
expect them to. Not to say that they are not reliable, but you kind of drop all expectations. So that way,
Uh,
if something happens, you're good. If it doesn't, you're also okay with it.
hmm,
So
okay.
I when I first after reading it and then first going back into the workforce after a brief stint of being out of work, I
Mhm.
really went in with that mindset. So that way, when someone is, for the lack of better words, a snake in the grass, and you already know they are, it's like that's not surprising.
Mm,
Why would I expect them to do any better than that? Because that's what they've shown. They've shown their
yeah.
character, the type of person they are. So if they do something slick, it's just like, well, that's who they are.
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's I don't know, man. I try not to live that style either because that's miserable too, right?
Yeah, it
Because
is. I mean, you're just kind of impartial. You're just neutral. Like you're not
yeah.
that way. If you're like, let's say I'm asking for a promotion,
Hmm.
and I'm perfectly know I'm capable. Everything is there, but then you pass me up. I'm like, okay, like I didn't expect you to come through, but if
Mm.
you would have, great. So then when it comes back around, you're like, hey, I'm promoting you. And you're like, okay, cool. And they're like, is that it? It's like, yeah, that's it. Thanks. Because it could have went either way. I'm not going to be jumping for joy
Okay.
because then it's like last time when you didn't do it, would you expect them to be like, oh my gosh, oh man, it's really blah, 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 blah. And
But
now
it's okay to have those feelings too, though.
it's okay, but
You just can't stick, you know.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just it's tough. If anyone has read the book or wants to check it out, Power of Now, and it's really about focusing on in the moment. You're fine.
Mm,
So right now. So how should
okay.
professionals handle disagreement? Well, they should talk it out.
Totally agree. Yes.
That's the number one thing is. But I think beyond talking it out, it's like you talk it out and stick to your commitments. I think
Mm,
really stand by it, have that integrity, accountability. Definitely have to have the emotional intelligence to even have the conversation, but just talk it out and see where we, maybe you just don't have a good understanding of each other. We were talking about this prior to the call. Maybe you don't have a good understanding of what's going on in each other's spaces. Maybe throwing all the cards on the table. Here's what I'm
mhm.
playing with, and say like, how now that you see what I'm working with, how does that change what you're thinking and what you're saying? Here's where I'll try to meet you, but at this point I can't. Maybe I can, and then, just let's just work through it all. And at the end of the day, if it's like, look, we're at an impasse, we just got to keep doing what we're doing, then own that. Take it back to your teams. We're gonna just keep doing. No more complaining. We're just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna take it back, and that's it. We just ride with it until systems change, process, whatever. That's all we can do.
But you said that you have a discussion, but you stick to your commitments. Is that what you said?
Yes, because at the end of the day, when you finally come to whatever the agreement is,
Hmm.
you stick to it. Like this is what
Got
I'm
it.
going
Okay.
to do. That goes back to that. I'm gonna own whatever we've committed to. There's
Got
no,
it.
I'm
Okay.
not gonna go away and be like, he's full of crap. Like I'm owning it. Stick to my
Got it.
commitment.
Okay.
We agreed to this. That's it.
Got you. Initially, I thought you're kind of going in with a preset commitment,
Oh no,
and that's obviously not good because you have to
yeah,
show some openness to disagreement or an understanding. Okay, got it.
yeah. Is emotional expression unprofessional? Emotional expression unprofessional. What do you think, T? Can you be in
It's
a call like,
so here's the thing, right? Like I've had bosses who do not show emotion, and it's a little
mm,
weird. It's strange
oh,
because like I'm like
are you
that's not
okay?
normal. Yeah, it's not normal, honestly. So I think it, you can't relate to people that way either. And when you can't relate to them, sometimes you just don't trust them. Um, Now I'm not saying you should be unprofessional, but I think it's okay to show some. I don't think you could take it overboard. I don't have a definition of what overboard is, right? But like
Mm,
in my past, like I try to stay professional, calm, cool, collected. But every once in a while, like I will get really like angry, and may come out with an emotional burst. And honestly, that has really played to my favor.
oh,
Um,
really?
it has, yeah, because it's like, wow, T never does this, and he did it. Holy shit, we fucked up, you know? Um, and or like he's really stressed, you know, this is his boss is riding him or something to that effect. Yeah. So it's definitely played in my favor because people when they know you and this is abnormal for you,
Oh, yes, true.
and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, there's more at play than we see here, right? And this is
Mhm.
why T's acting abnormal. So yeah, but if it's normal, no, I mean it's nobody cares about it. Now it just becomes part of your personality. But
Yeah.
every once in a while, when you do show it, and it shows kind of like, oh, this is not normal behavior. So he's like either super stressed or we need to like rally around this effort and just make it happen. And I've been lucky. I've had that experience in the past where they're just like, look out for me, and they're like, oh, let's look out for T, let's make this for him.
And that's a good thing because you remind me of like if people are feeling that stress or it's not normal, and that time could come at the unopportune times where it's like maybe you're in the middle of a project, maybe you're just feeling overwhelmed, super stressed, you need some time to collect yourself. Is a leader going to be able to step in and say, you know what, I recognize, hey, how about you take half a day, how about you take a day, and realize that I would rather you take some time to collect yourself and then
Mm,
get back in the game than to not, and things could potentially fall apart. You could fall apart. So, and I think that also takes some, I don't know what it would be from a leader to recognize that and also know that it's okay to do that.
mm.
Because sometimes you might have leaders where you're feeling like that and you go to them and you're like, hey, I need a minute. And they're like, what? Now? Like, we're in
Oh,
the middle of this. Like, what are you talking
yeah,
about?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So then you say, like, look, you throw the flag. Mental health. I need a break. Okay, fine. What are you talking about here? And you take the time, but then they almost hold that against you. So then when it comes around to review time or something, they're like, hey, remember when we are up against the wall and you just, which they shouldn't, but it's almost like they may hold on to that. Then
Mm,
that's what I think that leader doesn't have professionalism, definitely not caring about the people because there's not going to be an opportune time or the best possible scenario where it's like, okay, now we're not busy. Go ahead and take the break. It could come at any point. And it's like we
yeah.
got to think about our people and recognize when something's off that we could step in and do something about it. Of course, we have all these services and everything like that, but what if it's just, let me give them a break?
Yeah. I mean, but so I'm thinking about you right now, right? Like you're normally calm, cool, collected, and just like chill.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if I could tell you're stressed out, right?
No.
So if you need help or something, and maybe if you don't directly say something, I may just assume it's just like, oh, Larry's got this, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of downside now I think about it, because like
True. Yeah.
if I see you stressing, I'm like, hey, bro, is there something I can do to help you? You know? But that emotionless sometimes doesn't work in your favor in that sense, because they're like, oh, Larry's got it. He's like, he's not saying anything about it, you know? And maybe that's also, ooh, that's dangerous, because people
Yeah.
are gonna like pile stuff on you, right? And they're gonna assume, oh, he's got it. He's not saying anything.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Oof.
But I'm pretty vocal though. So
Yeah. Okay.
there's that part.
Okay. Fair.
I'm on the cusp of saying like this is bullshit.
All
So
right.
I'm like, man, it's, you don't know how, boy, I'm telling you, I'll be holding it back. I'll be really wanting to turn into the Incredible Hulk and be like, I'm tearing all this shit up because it's just, oh, man. You know, I see some memes and little things online, and I just want to be like, that's exactly what I'm
Yeah.
talking about. You know, sometimes I miss the military, where it's like you could just, you know, depending on the group you're with, you could just be like, you just say what you want to say. It'll be like,
Yeah.
respectfully, this is
Yeah.
bullshit. But
That's
I
true.
can't.
I do miss that part. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. So, how does remote work impact professionalism?
It
I mean,
hides the lack. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. You said it hides a lack of professionalism,
Yeah. I think
but with
because
that,
you
is that from a appearance standpoint?
no, I think it's because you're not getting the full 8 hours of this person, right? I could get on a
Mhm.
meeting and turn on professionalism for an hour and then be done with it, right? And
True.
so, I mean, let's look at it this way. People are, it won't be the first time I did a job interview in the past with just boxers on and like a suit top.
Yeah.
So you see, I mean, people could turn on professionalism and turn it off, right?
Yeah.
Um, so it's good that people are good at hiding the lack of professionalism, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, and especially when, of course, they didn't put on their camera, so then they can just be,
Ah,
it
yeah,
can be
yeah,
a
yeah.
hot mess, and you know, it is
That's
what it
true.
is.
Yeah.
But you know, I think for those that want to turn it on, excuse me, I think they could probably heighten it a little bit because they are
Hmm.
virtual. So that's like I'm gonna put it on maybe
Ah,
more
that's
than
true.
I normally do because I am not in people's presence. So you
Yeah,
may come off a little bit stronger professionally
that's true.
because you are behind the camera. So that you're not physically
Ah,
there. But then when you're in person, you're like, wow, is it the same person I've been talking to online this whole
yeah.
time?
So you're saying
So
like
either
it
way,
gives people some additional confidence, you think?
yes, yeah, because they're not
Uh,
physically in front of people. So they could just be going off and just being like, wow, this person's a rock star. And when they're in person, they're just a little bit more nervous because now all eyes are truly physically on them. They could see their body language, maybe
wow.
see. So it could go both ways.
Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah, I never thought about it that way. Yeah. Huh. Okay. That's good.
So then we
That's
will
interesting.
conclude with this. What's one non negotiable professional standard? What would you say?
Oof.
I already know what mine. They
Oh,
will come.
really?
Yeah.
I think non-negotiable is, you know, I think it goes back to like showing emotional control, right?
Okay. So you're going emotional
Um,
intelligence.
yeah. What about you?
Okay. Integrity.
Ah, well,
I
that's yeah.
think it kind of.
Okay. So now I feel bad for my answer. No.
No, 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 no.
Yeah, no,
Because
you're right. Yeah.
I mean that because that you know that's been one of the things we talked about so
Yeah.
many times, and so I think if we had more of that, I think where it would help a lot.
Mm,
Where you're treating others with dignity. You show the respect. You're ethical. You don't, backbiting. You're not doing all this slick stuff. It's like I'm right up front. But working together, always working together, and
Mm,
respecting what others are doing. Giving people the benefit of the doubt. It's just
sure.
like, you know, I find more that I'm hearing more and more about lack of professionalism, more than ever nowadays than I did in the past. Not that to say it didn't exist and the same stuff wasn't there,
Hmm.
but it just seems like it's just popping out from other places just more and more. It's like I wish it wasn't like that,
Interesting.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Why is that? Why is there more lack of professionalism these days?
I don't know. I don't know if it is stress, if it's,
Mm,
because you are under pressure and
hmm.
you don't want to look as if things are not, you're not doing your job or things like that, or your team is not failing. It's someone else,
Mm,
or I see the favoritism, which is out there. And that's where people should be given consideration and they're not. And someone that lacks the same level of experience, but maybe they look nice or they smile or they laugh or they joke, and it's like, well, I just like them better. It's like doesn't matter,
mm,
and it's tough. And this goes back to people being taught, because there are people out there that are not observant. They're not paying attention to what professionalism looks like. They just get put in a role, never even considered it, and then they get put in a role, and maybe for them it's like, I do my job, I do it well, I dress nice, that's it.
yeah.
Now you're in charge of others. So what does that mean? They don't know how to do it. So then next thing you know, it's like when you're an individual person and you have a close friend, it's cool because
Yeah.
you're colleagues, you work together. But when you're a supervisor and now you befriend someone that's a subordinate, but they're a peer to some, that's not a good look. Unfortunately, you can't do that. You have to separate. Unless they're all going to be treated equally, then you don't do that. Somebody come to your office, you're like, hey, great, okay, I'm still evaluating you and letting you
Hmm.
know it's about your work, not about this
Yeah.
side conversation about our weekend, about concerts, none of that. And it's
Yeah.
hard, for people. Like I had an employee tell me they wouldn't want, honestly, he said, I would never want to be in charge of people because I will have favorites. Because I'm just that type of person. I'm not going to, if you piss me off, then that's it.
Mm,
And I don't want to be in that situation. So it's best if I'm just not put there to begin with, because I will. Fair enough. You will be, so then we won't. And not that they're not capable,
hmm.
but they know they're going to cross that line.
Yeah. At least I know. Shit. So I just want to put out, and before we conclude, something that is hopefully helpful for some people. So, like, if you're out there listening and you're like, yeah, I've been told I'm professional or I snap at people or whatever, right? Um, I encourage you to kind of go and talk to somebody about it. It may be a condition. So, like, what I mean by that, it could be untreated or unaddressed depression or anxiety. And the reason I say that is because I was that person a while ago. And when that goes unchecked, like, yeah, I was a jerk at one time. And like I realized I was being a jerk, but like I couldn't control it. And if you
Mhm.
have that feeling, I encourage you to kind of talk to somebody and see, if it's something that is medically possibly, something wrong. I don't know. Or maybe you just need to talk to somebody about it. But yeah,
Mm,
um, I had to I had to go see somebody because yeah, I was like, I don't know why I have these outbursts and like, you know, short fuse. And there's some people,
mm,
and so yeah, I got that addressed and I was all pretty cool after that. But yeah, so sometimes people don't know that and
yeah.
it goes untreated and you're just a miserable person to be around, you know. But yeah, so as you get older, sometimes it's something that can be treated. Um,
Mm.
so talk to somebody.
When you say short fuse, when I was younger, I was had a very short fuse.
Mm,
Like I would get upset so easily.
Mm.
People would never gather that that's the way I used to be, and I just kind of just
Yeah.
outgrew it, and but I was like, I would flip very quick,
Really?
and
Okay.
just yeah, really bad, and it just changed over time, and then I think because it was like that when I first joined the military, but then once I got into, I guess maybe I have an opportunity to lead, and I
Mm.
really tried to embody that. That really helped shift my thinking to have to show up for others and to be a role model. It's
Mm.
like you can't do that. And maybe that's something as part of what you're saying too, is like if you want to be the role model to others, that takes that internal reflection, that internal growth, all of these things. It's like, what do you have to do to get there? What's going to bring forth the best version, I guess, of you? So you said, I need to be better. I want that best version. Go to wherever it is. It could be a coach, a mentor, maybe it's therapy, whatever it is.
Yep.
It's like, I want to make sure that, especially if I have people underneath my wing, that
Mhm.
I am providing the best that I possibly can.
Yeah.
So,
True.
all right.
Cool.
Well, that is it. Well, thanks for tuning in to Command and Corporate. If today's episode gave you value, do us a favor. Share with a colleague or teammate who's ready to step into leadership. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Connect with us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts for more leadership insights and resources. And until next time, lead with clarity, lead with purpose, and always remember, mission first, people always. We'll catch you next time.
Thanks, Larry.